I know what some of my subscribers might be thinking. Deventerous, why do you make so many critical videos being negative towards Smash Bros? Isn't it obvious? It's because I'm a hater. I turned hating into a hobby. I mean, hey, that's what a lot of YouTubers do nowadays anyways, right? So is this really surprising? No, I'm just kidding, alright? Don't get your ninja underwear in a twist. Obviously, I'm a huge Smash Bros fan, and as I've said before, I'm very thankful for the impact Smash has had on not only my life, but also my channel. However, if you ask me, I don't think the series really needs another entry. Like, I would be perfectly fine if the series stopped at Ultimate. I really don't think we need another Smash game. I know that claim might sound weird to longtime Smash fans like me. I mean, why wouldn't you want another Smash game, right? More characters, more stages, redesigned characters, new DLC, potentially new mechanics, game modes, and everything else that we expect from new Smash titles. Why wouldn't I want that? Now, don't get me wrong, if a new Smash game comes out, you bet your ass I'm buying it day one without a question. But ever since Sora came out and Sakurai left the future of the series open-ended, there's still a couple things that makes me question if a new Smash game should even be made in the first place. Sakurai has previously mentioned that he fully believes that a new entry in the series wouldn't work without him, and for the most part, I fully agree with this. Here's the thing, we all know that Sakurai is notorious for overworking himself, even to the extent where it'll be a detriment to his own health, and every single time a new development cycle for a new Smash title occurs, more and more rumors surface of Sakurai potentially ending the series with the installment that is currently being developed. Ever since Melee was released, one of Sakurai's biggest fears was that the series he directs and has full creative control over, Kirby and Smash Bros, were in danger of sequelization. In an email interview with IGN, Sakurai says, quote, "It would be best not to assume that there will always be another one. I can't really think about future prospects at the moment. If Nintendo decided they want me to make another one and offers me the job, that's when I would start thinking about it." But he also mentions in a leaked interview that he would actually rather leave the future installments of Smash in the hands of someone else, but he and Nintendo would need to have a long, serious discussion on how to make the next game in the Smash Bros. Series as successful as Ultimate. I don't know about you guys, but to me it seems like for a really long time now, Sakurai has already been tired of developing new Smash games, but has continued to work on the series, most likely because Nintendo probably offers him some serious cash, on top of his obvious love for the franchise and his fear of letting his creation into the hands of someone else. I mean, hell, Sakurai fully intended for Melee to be the final entry of the series, only for Brawl to be announced without his knowledge of the game's existence, only to then agree to hop back on the Smash train once more. All this to say, I think there's a pretty good chance that Sakurai could be fully done with the series after Ultimate, and I would be totally cool with it, not only because I think Sakurai deserves a long break after Ultimate because he really outdid himself, but also because I personally feel like the series has already reached a fever pitch of everything. Honestly, I also can't deny the possibility of a new Smash game coming out either, because we all know Nintendo probably isn't going to stop a series that has been this successful for them. After all, it's one of the biggest things they have going for them. No company is going to stop doing something that makes them a shit ton of money. That would just be a dumb move on their part. Sakurai didn't deny the possibility that if he were offered the job to direct the new Smash title, that he would at the very least think about it. But here's my issue with a new Smash title. There's obviously many ways that they can go about approaching a new entry in the series, but from my perspective, these would most likely be the main ways they could do it. Number one, they could give the new entry the same treatment they give Ultimate, bring over some of the core mechanics from the previous game, tweak them a little bit, rework some of the main cast, and add some new mechanics to make it interesting, while also adding onto the already insane roster of Ultimate to make it even larger than that game. Or number two, they could rework the entirety of the game from front to back to give the game an entirely new feel now that they have more time to develop a new game, since they're hopefully not rushing it out to meet a deadline of a new console launch like they were for Ultimate, which they very well could be, can't deny that possibility either. And they could also dial back the amount of characters to reimagine the movesets of the core cast and maybe some fan favorites from the previous games. In general, just to have the number of the cast be significantly smaller than Ultimate. On a quick side note, I just think the idea of taking the reimagined core cast and adding characters we haven't seen yet would be a really sick idea, especially if the game mechanically is completely different from Ultimate. Yeah, I suppose there is a chance that they could do the first option and rework the mechanics of the game as well, but I have a really hard time believing that they would actually do that, especially if they're on a time crunch to meet a deadline for a new console launch like I said earlier. Honestly, I think if they're going to make a new Smash game, I'd much prefer the second option to the first, and I'll tell you what. While yeah, it would be an absolute fever dream to have new characters on top of the already existing cast, I think if they were to take that approach after a certain point, I think there would just be too many characters, and the series could potentially drift off into something we may not like or really recognize as Smash Bros anymore. Of course, not to say that Smash fans should be able to decide what creatively Smash can and cannot do, but we know how Smash fans tend to be really picky about the characters that they want in the game, so when additions are added, they may not end up liking it and would just have probably preferred to have just restarted the entire series like I said earlier. Especially if Sakurai isn't the one behind the wheel for this new game, although that probably won't be likely. But I still feel like the cast doesn't need to be bigger than it already is. Like I said earlier, I do fully believe the series has already reached a peak of size and grandiosity that will be extremely difficult to top. I'd really rather Sakurai not take such an incredibly daunting task on himself because again, when it comes to Smash, he really overworks himself. Now, some of my competitive bias for Smash may show in this next part, but for the competitive scene, having over 100 plus characters in the meta would not only make it kind of messy, but also really unpredictable, which could make it interesting, but again, I would just personally prefer if the cast would be the same size or just have it be smaller. I just think having the cast dialed back and reimagined could be an interesting twist for the series with a new style of presentation would be great. If you ask me, having around 35 to 40 characters for the next game would be pretty sick if it's a whole new cast of characters we haven't really seen yet. But again, I kind of doubt they would even take this approach because having an even bigger cast of characters on top of the already 90 plus in Ultimate would probably drive more hype for the game, so I'm inclined to believe that they would take this approach instead. I wouldn't prefer it this way, but we know that hype is the main driving force of Ultimate sales at the end of the day. Like I said earlier, Sakurai also didn't deny the possibility of leaving the future of the series in someone else's hands, and honestly, I don't hate that timeline. Seeing someone else's interpretation of Smash would be pretty interesting to me, although I can imagine a lot of the fans being angry over this because Smash fans don't really like change. The issue with someone else directing Smash is that there may be a chance that they could just fall to fan expectations and just kind of copy Sakurai's homework, and some people may find that a little boring or repetitive. But on the other hand, if they completely reimagine the series, fans will also be upset because it's just not what they're used to. I definitely think whoever else may take control of the series could absolutely make it work if they're passionate about it, but it would be different and people just won't like that. Although I would appreciate it if Ultimate were to simply get updated for the next console and have them hopefully fix the issues with the online, fixing the input lag and other common issues the player base still experiences with the game years later. Maybe throw in a new character or two for the new updated version of Ultimate to add a little bit of hype, and I would be perfectly fine with this timeline. Regardless of what happens in the future, I just think we should appreciate Ultimate for what it is now, because chances are we're never going to see another game like it ever again, and I can't think of another game that I was so invested into the hype train for. Anyways, that's all I really got to say about this for now. Let me know what you think about a potential new Smash game in the future. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the video if you liked it, blah blah blah. Typical YouTuber outro. Okay, bye.
She fill my mind up with a